AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi's beheading hypocrisy has been exposed by India today. After condemning the Sartan Se Juda slogan, Owaisi has ensured the release of protesters who carried out those violent protests and chanted the slogans in Hyderabad. He was caught, in fact, in a phone conversation with one of these mobsters where Owaisi says their arrest is unfortunate, pacifies them, tells them go home. More than 80 protesters were released like this after Owaisi and his brother Akbaruddin Owaisi intervened. Owaisi had earlier condemned the slogan and said that no one should take law into their own hands, yet the reality is that in this kind of appeasement politics, he is now ensuring the release of those very protesters. Congress's Feroz Khan too also backed this and in fact targeted the suspended BJP MLA T. Raja Singh, saying he should be beaten up.
वो मालूम होते कि मेरे को मैं मुजफ्फर को बोला
जी और जो आके मुजफ्फर कॉर्पोरेटर साहब और समस्त कॉर्पोरेटर साहब आके हम लोग रिहा करे और आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया जज़ाकल्लाह।
अब जाओ 1:30 बजे सुबह 1:30 बजे अब जाओ घर में परेशान होंगे जी। इंशाल्लाह मुजफ्फर समझ लिया कि आप घर पे छोड़ देंगे
जी। अच्छी बात है साहब, शुक्रिया साहब।
आराम से रहो, परेशान रखो, इंशाल्लाह मालूम होते कि हम हरकत में आए और ये नहीं होना था वो जी साहब। आप जाइए, घर को जाइए, आराम करिए जी। अच्छी बात है साहब, शुक्रिया जज़ाकल्लाह साहब। घर वाले परेशान होंगे आपके जाइए जी।
Completely condemn such slogans. No one has the right to take law in their hands. We have given a complaint, a timely action has been taken. No one should use these slogans. You cannot take law into your hands.
Let's take this across now to Apurva Jayachandran, who's reporting live from Hyderabad. Apurva, who are these men who were released by Asaduddin Owaisi? Were these people protesters who were there in Old Hyderabad raising these Sartan Se Juda slogans?
Akshita, in fact, yesterday night things turned violent yet again as several protesters gathered here just, kilometers away from Charminar. And in fact, you can see the deployment out here as well early this morning. In fact, Rapid Action Force out here has been consistently monitoring the situation in and around several parts of the old city as well. With respect to the protesters who were picked up yesterday, one thing that we will need to, take into importance is that most of them in fact were children, that is youngsters, minors there who had been protesting, all of them yet again sloganeering, Sartan Se Juda and Raja Singh ko Phansi do. These are the kind of slogans that were echoing throughout the night yesterday. Almost over 100 of them protesters had been detained by police, but it will be interesting to note that all of these protesters were not at one separate location. They were they were coming in from various streets and were culminating in one spot. So the police there, even as they were trying to speak with the protesters, even as they were trying to go ahead and talk to them, try to make them understand and ask them to reach back home, the protesters defying the orders that were already set in place. Remember, yesterday with the police, pre-notion that these kind of protests should not take place, had also asked the entire markets here in and around must be closed after 8 p.m. But even following that, we did see the kind of protest that took an ugly turn yesterday. These Rapid Action Force, officers as well as police officials there, in fact, had to gear up for a possible, lathi charge as well, because a few of the protesters there started stone pelting as well at the police officials, those officials who were trying to come and pick them up and detain them. So the kind of, the ruckus, the kind of, the protests turning into a very bad situation there was very much present yesterday, even this morning in and around the site where the protesters had taken place. The police have been deployed here. Continuous monitoring that has been ordered there by the DGP. In fact, almost over 16 areas that have been looked into and picked up as sensitive areas that are being continuously monitored 24/7 by officials. at present, several of these areas, including Shalibanda and right at Charminar where we are at, you can
All right,
see
I
that
can
the
see the
police
security
force is
around
still
you as well there,
deployed.
Apurva. Thanks for the moment for getting us the ground report.